We have a trade. The Chicago Bulls have traded Lonzo Ball to the Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro. Let's talk about it. The first reaction for any Bulls trade is usually just to laugh at the Bulls, which I understand. They've made a lot of really bad trades. I hated the Giddy for Caruso trade for them. I've pretty much hated every trade they've done. The Zach LaVine trade, they waited too long. The DeMar DeRozan sign-in trade. Basically, what the Bulls do is they wait until the players that they have on their roster have no trade value left, and then they trade them, which in general is a very bad process. Having said that, Lonzo Ball probably did not have a lot of trade value. He has not played over 40 games since 2021. He missed multiple seasons. We don't know what's going on with his knee ever since he got the meniscus transplant. So it's not like he had a ton of value around the league. And if we believe the rumor that Kenny Beecham was talking about on Twitter, they were offered a first round pick for Lonzo at the deadline from the Grizzlies. All they had to do was take on Marcus Smart. Obviously, that became the 18th pick in this draft, which would have been really nice for the Bulls to have. But like I said, here's what they got back for Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball. On the whole, they are just a terrible front office. But once again, having said that, I do think people are dunking on this trade a little bit too much, only due to the fact that Lonzo really did not have trade value. It's not like Alex Caruso or Zach LaVine or these guys who at one point had real trade value and you could have cashed in. Because of Lonzo's lack of availability, I don't think that he was a high priority around the league. Now, I understand why the Cavs took this flyer. They're probably going to lose Ty Jerome in free agency. And Lonzo, if he can stay healthy, is still a very, very, very good basketball player. He also doesn't make that much money. So, if he doesn't play for you, he's tradable contract either, at this deadline or in a year from now or whatever. So it's a fine flyer for them to take. I've never been a big Isaac Okoro fan. It's actually very funny that the Bulls already have Patrick Williams and they basically just traded for the guard version of Patrick Williams. But he only has 2 years left on his deal. He's 24 years old. It's a fine flyer. I wish the Bulls would stop trying to acquire players who are very limited shooters or non-shooters. Like, they seem to be just allergic to acquiring anyone that has any sort of shooting ability. Okoro is fine from the corners. He's a very fine spot-up shooter. He's someone you can park in the corner and he'll make enough open threes, but he really doesn't have any shot versatility at all, and that this Bulls roster really needs guys who can shoot from all over the place. Having said that, I kind of get the trade for both sides. Lonzo wasn't really doing anything for the Bulls, especially if he's only going to play 35 to 40 games a year. Isaac Okoro's young enough that you can kind of talk yourself into it, even though, like I said, on the whole, it feels like the Bulls just consistently fumble their players' trade values and always sell them at their lowest point, which is the worst thing you can do as a front office. I don't know. I can't get too mad at this trade just because it's just not that consequential. I give the Cavs a B plus and I give the Bulls a C plus.